Hello, everyone. You're listening to Axe Radio, Acadia University's campus radio station. My name is Gwen, and I'm here with Azulov. This summer, they're releasing their EP titled Swimming Through Milk, and they're currently on a tour of the East Coast. Tonight, on August 9th, they're playing at the Tower in Kentville. On August 10th, they'll be at the Seahorse Tavern in Halifax. On August 11th, they're at Grimross Brewing in Fredericton, and on August 12th, they're finishing up their tour at Wasted Day Brewing in St. John. You can check out their Instagram at Azulov Music for more details. So I'm super excited to get to talk to all of you right at the beginning of your tour. And first of all, do you all want to introduce yourselves and what you play?
Sure. So my name is Brydone. I'm the drummer, and I'm a Acadia alum as well from the music program. Yeah, I'm from Fredericton originally, and it's I kind of put the whole tour together, and was really kind of happy to get a chance to play with a lot of old friends and kind of meet some new people as well. Yeah. Also, just a note: we are actually switched our Halifax gig, and we're playing at a place called the Serpent Brewing in Halifax instead of the Seahorse. Cool. Last minute change.
Like that something.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Oh, well, my name's Will. I'm going to be playing bass and guitar and trading off a couple backing vocals, right? Yeah. And I'm a Montreal native, born and raised, so I'm really looking forward to come out to the Maritimes in the New Brunswick so far. Really looking forward to seeing some more, playing with my friends.
I'm Artoim or Artie, and I sing, play guitar and bass now also. Yeah, I started this project a while ago, and now I'm happy to play with Brydone and Will, especially Brydone, because it's not true. I love you too. I love them both. I love them both. Equally love you.
He says, wait till you're not around.
Nice. So how did each of you individually get into playing music?
Yeah, so I started playing drum set when I was, I don't know, like 14 or something, 13, 14, middle school. And yeah, I started playing with a guy named Pat Peltier. He was my teacher and just kind of was, playing with school, and kind of found myself in percussion actually towards the end of high school and studied at Acadia. That was like my big thing, was to get into Acadia for percussion. Yeah, and then I actually joined the Army afterwards to play music in the Army. Moved to Ottawa to do a master's in percussion, then moved to Montreal to play rock music, and yeah, just like not make any money. It's really awesome.
It's really great. Best.
Heavy hitter. Well, I got started on bass when I was like 10. It didn't catch on, but then I got on guitar when I was 15, and just from there, I just was playing all night, skipping homework. Eventually started getting, yeah, school's for loot. No, stay in school. Especially if you're in college, keep that going, college radio. Yeah, and I ended up getting hired for acts like Nora. I'd meet with people like Damn Truth and stuff, and they're all doing great. I started my own band, Space Wizards, as well. Kept it going. That already, we go around town a whole bunch and playing music now.
Well, I started. I've played all my life, I suppose, like guitar, just kind of a little bit. But I really got into it during COVID. Had nothing else to do, and I told myself, why not try? And I quit my job. I started playing music, and now, yeah, that's how Azulov was born. And since then, we've been playing in different projects together, all around bars and like festivals around Quebec. And yeah, this is going to be our first tour for Azulov outside
Very cool.
outside the province. It's exciting.
Nice. So how did you three get into playing together specifically?
Cool. Do you want to answer that one? I feel like it's fun if you answer that.
All right. So
how you found that?
So first of all, I think I met Brydone and Will. I met them both at the same time. They were both playing in their own respective bands. Diplomats for Brydone and Space Wizards for Will. And yeah, it was we just kind of kept running into each other here and there in the music scene in Montreal. And then eventually I hired Brydone once, and then we started playing. And now he's like a full-time member of Azulov, and he's organizing this tour and doing an amazing job, by the way. Good job.
Thank you.
Will, we play with Will in a lot of bar gigs, and when the last roaster I had for the band disbanded, he filled in and he played guitar at that point. and now he's playing bass. He knows every song at this point, and yeah, so that's how it has been. It's been for like 2 years now, a year and a half maybe that I met these guys, and like maybe in the last couple of months we got into together to play Azulov. That's
Cool. What were some of your earliest musical inspirations, and do you still find yourself drawing from them?
Well, when it comes to Azulov, it's been changing. If ever you go on Spotify and listen to like the earliest stuff that we put out, it's like pretty like classic heavy rock, and then I kind of started listening to more soul and like, a little more R&B stuff. So like that's why this EP, this album is like a little more slow and chill, but also still have like, inspirations from like, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Olden Witches, bands like that, some alternative rock basically. So, but it keeps changing. I'm not gonna lie to you, changing like every month, and then like I'm like, oh guys, I got a new song, and they're like, come on, man, you gotta play the old stuff.
And it's like a completely different style for every song too, which is really exciting. But it's actually very fun.
I'm happy you guys are into that because you wouldn't be into that. Well,
I think it kind of reflects like all of our interests as well. I mean, like Will studied jazz in college, and then also like his band is kind of like a blues rock project as well, and all sorts of different stuff. It's fun to be able to kind of play on each other's like strengths and interests as well. So, it's really fun. Some weird atmospheric stuff too. We're trying to weasel that stuff in there too.
It works. It works so far, so good.
Yeah. So then what's your writing process look like, and how have you seen it sort of morph and change since you started writing music?
Oof, that's a good question. I think it changes right all the time. For each song, it's different. There's some songs that we're jamming, like not even like part of the Azulov project, which is jamming, hanging out, and then like a riff sticks and whatnot, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. Then I come back and Brydone is like, oh, I remember that riff. Like we play around with that. I travel a whole bunch, and usually when I travel, I start writing lyrics, which don't really always work with the music that we write. So like it's like kind of we go through stages. I write some lyrics, try it on something, it doesn't work, but it's different for every song. Sometimes you just sit down and everything comes out, and sometimes it's work, and sometimes it's not. So it's like that.
Yeah.
I feel like too, like there's a pretty vibrant like open mic scene here as well, which like we have all kind of also met through that.
Yeah, we all met through open mics. Yeah,
and like it's a great place to workshop. I know like in Wolfville at Patty's, there's obviously like a great open mic there.
Yeah,
I wish we could actually check out. It's super fun.
When is it?
It's on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
They changed it, but
I think we'll make it.
Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll just go. I'm going a couple days early, so maybe I'll check it. Yeah, but it's like a very fun, fun way to kind of like workshop things as well. Even find new members and whatnot. So that's been, at least as far as like ensemble goes, like we've kind of done a lot of that.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
Pretty much everything is from the open mics here in Montreal. Like all these connections, all the musicians.
Yeah, nice. It's really important to find that musical community there. I know how important that is, especially in Wolfville. It's like what you said, the open mics at Patty's. It's where you'll meet everyone who wants to play with someone, and then you'll just find each other there.
I mean, Jesse Potter, we're playing with him on the first gig, and he's like the master of the open mics at the what an honor. Yeah,
we're playing heavy hitters.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know we really pulled in some favors there.
So what does your recording process look like?
Good question, because before I used to work with a producer, Tom Schemmer. He's playing guitar for the Damn Truth. I don't know if you guys know that band. But that last EP/album, the Swimming Through Milk, I recorded everything myself in the studio, and then got someone else to mix it. But yeah, everything was recorded. I mean, the guy Brydone played the drums and the percussions and on all the songs. The guitars I invited some other musicians to play, but recorded everything myself, and then got someone else to mix it. That's also a whole other project and a whole other other thing to play, and I've learned a lot through that. It's pretty cool. It's kind of taken up, from musician to the kind of producer, and There you go.
It's definitely something I find with like putting, all this kind of DIY, music together. It's like there's, it's like music comes first, of course, and like trying to make everything sound good, make sure the ideas are good. But like wearing many hats is something I think we're all like exploring. Like we're all trying.
Yeah,
to,
everybody's doing a bunch of things,
and we're all in different projects as well. And like it's we're all trying to figure out how the industry works and how to like we see ourselves within that and what we excel at and stuff. It's like really cool to see like actually even like over knowing you guys for the past. Actually, Will and I played a gig. Like, I think my first gig in Montreal was with Will at Barfly.
That was fun.
That was super fun. That was a long time ago. And like, it was just
before my time. I didn't even play music back then.
And it was just like, it's just funny, like seeing where it's kind of like led to and like seeing how far you've gone even with like your own, the Space Wizards project and everything. It's really cool.
That's kind of the history in here in Montreal. It's a big city, but it's also a small town in a lot of ways. Sure. Only a matter of time sometimes where you find people you vibe with. So
yeah.
In terms of recordings, he's the one handling it for all this.
Right.
So
we just play. It's awesome.
You don't even play.
I barely play.
Nice. So, Brydone, you graduated from the Acadia School of Music, like you said, and you were part of the radio too while you were here, right?
Well, yeah. So I was never working for the radio per se, but I did a lot with them. Like the radio. Like I don't even know if you know these people. Like Kelly McNeil.
We've been trying to make connections with everyone from the radio because there's like it has a spotty history in a few ways, but it's really cool to like be able to talk to people who knew what it was like a little bit before, because I know COVID completely knocked us out and we had to essentially restart. So
yeah, I'm sure that must have been a lot. Yeah, Kelly was amazing. Like they did sound for us too at all of like the Axe Lounge gigs that we did, and we played together in bands, almost kind of like in a similar vein as this, like just all the open mics and et cetera, and the Athenaeum too, if that's still like that was a pretty big thing as well, which is the newspaper. So yeah, it's the same space if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very intertwined scene. So yeah, we'd always play and have like house parties and things too together. And yeah, it's great. It's a good time, good memory actually. Kind of, it's nice to kind of have a pause from like the academic side of school as well.
Exactly.
It's something we're all kind of fighting for.
Yeah. Especially if you have a radio show, then it's like, okay, well, I'm setting aside this chunk of time every single week to just not think about school for a little bit.
It was so nice to like listen to our friends would host like all these radio shows too, and it was always so fun to hear what they'd put on and like get to play kind of weird music that you don't get to hear on like the standard valley radio stations, like
exactly
classic rock and top 40s and stuff, which is fine.
Oh, the classic rock. I love classic rock.
we haven't even started yet.
I just want to hear like one by Metallica like every hour.
We have to be in a small pen altogether.
All right.
I wish it was a van. Yeah, it's a Honda Civic.
It's a Honda Civic, right?
Travel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you have a dream city or a dream venue that you want to play at some point?
Too many.
All of them.
Barfly, Montreal.
No, don't say that.
I love that. That place is actually.
Pick one.
I would love to play like a festival actually. I would love to play the Festival d'été de Québec, the FEC. That's fun. That would be a great one to do. Of course, like any of the cities, like big cities in the US or the Europe, you can play like London or whatnot. New York, that would be great. I'd like to do that. Nashville, New Orleans.
You're supposed to choose. They're all so fun.
Hard question.
Yeah, I always wanted, when I was a kid, I used to go to Evolve. I don't think that's happening anymore. It was a festival that was in Anagan. And I moved to Moncton or something, but I always really wanted to play that. That was like, seeing the shows on the main stage there was like a huge deal for me. They're pivotal. And like, there were some crazy acts. I remember seeing like Edward Sharp and Magnetic Zeros when they were just starting, and some really cool rap artists and East Coast artists like Slow Coaster and all those good folks. Yeah, that was like, to be a part of like that scene was always kind of like, maybe it'll happen. Maybe this is the beginning. Something's like
Making our own.
We're making our own split.
This is the question that people either find the easiest to answer or the most difficult. So, what music have you been listening to and enjoying lately?
Oof. That's a bunch of things. Pretty eclectic on
Yeah.
Listen, you guys are both looking at me on this.
Yeah. What have you been listening to?
Actually, it's funny. I was just with my family, my dad's family in Ontario, and he was saying how he went to see this show by a band called Blood, Sweat, and Tears when in like the 70s. And my grandpa was like singing all these songs. My dad was singing them. I was like, oh, this is great. I'd never heard them before. And I checked it out and like, it's so good. It's exactly like what I've been needing. It's kind of like progressive rock meets jazz meets like 70s folk, very Canadian kind of style. And it's like really blowing me away. I can't stop listening to it actually. It's probably really annoying like everybody in my life because whenever there's like a guitar around or anything, I just like start playing like the 4 chords I know, which also happen to be in like some of their main songs. And it's like really fun to just like.
But don't worry, we make him go back.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that, but it's fun for me.
It's like a 5-minute thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been getting into like I listen to a lot of music often because I play a lot of bar gigs, so I kind of listen to the songs that I'm gonna play so I can learn them, and that's like every week, kind of trying to add something. But lately, I've been going back to like the Pixies, Pumpkins. Like I've been listening to them like a lot for the past 2 weeks.
Dangerous.
So I guess you guys ready for some new music soon?
We've already done a couple things. No, did we do Pixies?
Yeah, we've done.
Hey, we did. Hey, that's right.
But what am I listening to? I mean, I have my staples I go back to. Like, I really love 60s rock from England. It's really blues influenced, but it was also exploring a lot of different vibes. I like to go back to Motown, so I'm still listening to a bunch of Marvin Gaye. It's too nice, especially. Anyway, I could go on for that. I've been enjoying a lot of Andre 3000 again, too, revisiting some of the stuff from Outkast.
Outkast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can tell by the hat.
Oh, it's the hat. Yeah, definitely. That's why I wear too much Andre 3000. But yeah, I've just been listening to a bunch of that. A couple of jazz pianists. It's just trying to discover new things. So.
You guys are so fancy with your answers. I don't like Pixies.
Pixies are pretty fancy too.
I don't know. I want to say fusion jazz stuff too. I want to say that. Listen to it.
Okay, so go ahead. Say it.
It's too late. I don't want to lie.
You're not lying. He listens.
Dude.
I saw him listening to atonal 12-tone serial music.
Yeah,
and it was so high. I walked out.
Yeah, it was too much.
I was right out of the car we were driving in.
Yeah, I was ashamed. I don't have the musical understanding.
You don't have to. We don't have to.
Thinking of some unsavory examples we've listened to in the car actually many times. Unsavory. Some ranch.
Captain Beefheart.
No.
Captain Beefheart. Yes, this is strange.
We can't say them.
We can't say them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The forbidden music.
The forbidden.
Yeah, so last question I have for you is what are you most excited about for the tour of the Maritimes?
You guys go for it. I don't want to answer this.
All right. I mean, I just like traveling and playing music, show up somewhere, you try to make as many friends as you can, you figure places out sort of as you come back to them. So more than anything, I'm looking to meeting people, just finding reasons to come back and really explore, It's kind of a big thing for me. Love being on the road for
that. I'd say that for me, well, first and foremost, it was one of my biggest dreams ever for like the longest time to kind of tour and actually tour, not just book one show and go and come back, actually do a couple. This is like the first time this happens. And then also touring with like your pals and your friends, because first of all, I'm friends with those guys. Before we even started playing music, before we even started making
musicians first, man. What do you mean?
Friends. As you can see, we're like good pals. We joke around, hang out besides doing music. So that's gonna be really fun. That's gonna be I'm very excited. And I've never been to the Maritimes. I've been to like New Brunswick with Bathurst at some point, but like I've never seen anything else. So I'm really excited to see the Maritimes actually. Of course, play music, yeah, it's secondary to everything else, right?
yeah, like I don't know, I'm really well, like for what you guys said too. Like I love going to the Maritimes. I haven't been there since Christmas, but yeah, like getting to travel with these guys can be super fun. And we did a festival a couple months ago actually now, which is kind of like which is like the test, to see if it actually worked to actually travel, and it was horrible and the worst experience of my
What are
life.
you talking about? That's so
it was actually it was very silly. It was very fun.
Cried myself to sleep.
It was like a camping kind of festival, so we all got to camp together and make.
Not everybody gets the sarcasm, guys. Not everyone gets the sarcasm.
Rule number one about me is like fully sarcastic, 100%. But I'm actually really excited to play with like some really old friends from like middle school and high school and like university, and that's really kind of actually intense. Like I haven't played like the first game. I don't really know the Chimney Swift super well, but I've like heard them before, so that's kind of a first for me. But in Halifax, we're playing with Kevin Tynes, who I used to play cover shows with and house parties and Axe Radio stuff with Kevin, and everyone in his band as well. Like it was like went to music school with most of them. And then Avery Dakin, she's also an Acadia grad, who I haven't played with, but once again, it's like going to be kind of fun to get a chance.
She's super awesome, by the way.
She's super awesome. She's like, they've really been
Halifax
helping us a ton. And then in Fredericton, which is my hometown, we're playing with Lil Omar, who's one of my best friends of all time, Oscar Teku. And he's playing with his sister, I believe, who's on bass and flutes. And that's yeah, and that's really cool. Like, I've known them for a super long time, and that's really like, we used to be in bands together. Like I remember winning a battle of the bands at his high school actually, which was a big deal because I was in the rival high school, and my brother and I were the rhythm section, and we kind of won, but like from the other side of town. So that was.
I didn't know you had a brother.
Oh yeah, he's a great bass player. So Will.
Oh, they keep trying to take my job, and they bring me back.
It's because you play so many instruments, you can just play whatever.
So somebody send help.
And then in Fredericton, we'll play with
Little Punk Cat. Please help. They say it's sarcasm.
Yeah, in Fredericton, we're also playing with El Tata, who I don't really know personally, but he's a friend of Oscar's, so that's going to be really fun too. And then St. John, New Brunswick, which is kind of a bit more of a wild card. We're playing with another really, really old friend of mine named Sam Gallant, who's playing drums with a band called Big South, which is kind of like a Celtic fusion band. And the fiddle player used to play in a band with Oscar and I on bass, though. And it's funny because Artyom and I were in New Orleans last November. I was at a music conference. He was at work, and Keegan, the fiddle player, was also at this music conference. I had no idea he was going to be there. And we ran into each other at the airport, and I hadn't seen him in like 5-10 years kind of thing. And it was just so kind of surreal, and yeah. And so I'm really excited to get to play with him and Sam. And then there's also Dash Talk, who we're playing with in St. John, who I also don't really know super well, but their music is really cool, and like the St. John music scene looks really interesting. I haven't really explored it a ton, but I've listened to a lot of bands since kind of planning the tour, and there's a really cool music scene out there if you're kind of like into really dark kind of emo music. It's really, really happy. Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I've been really thinking about that question for a long time, actually. There you go. You got it.
You answered it right now.
Should just had you answer.
Yeah. What do you need us for?
All right, we're just gonna sit here and look pretty. But
yeah, good at it.
So thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure getting to talk to you guys. And once again, Azulov is playing tonight, August 9th at the Tower in Kentville. Doors are at 8 and the show starts at 9. You can check them out on Instagram at Azulov Music or on their website, azulov.com. And you can find them on any of your music streaming services. So thank you so much, guys.
Thanks so much, Gwen.
Thank you.